This guy's right from New York City. Give it up for Adam Gabel, everybody.
All right. How's everybody doing tonight, all right? We know this guy's doing okay. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my family. My nephew's a comic book geek. Never even kissed a girl. So for his 18th birthday, I got him a sex doll. Trouble is, he's such a nerd that he refuses to take it out of the original packaging. Thank you guys, thanks. I get the impression some people on the back don't quite know what to make of me. I get it. On the one hand, I look like a Czechoslovakian Uber driver. And on the other, I sound like Jewish Batman. I'll be up here for a while, so we can all figure me out together. I live in New York City. A couple years ago for our anniversary, my father got my wife and I a $100 gift certificate to the Four Seasons restaurant. Dinner for two at the Four Seasons cost like $300. So basically he gave us a bill for $200. He's like, happy anniversary. Do you guys want to go in on a gift with me? About 10 years ago, my wife and I started trying to have children. Our biggest difficulty has been that we succeeded twice. My wife has always said that we should keep our kids' baby teeth in a plastic bag, which is all right with me, but I think we should wait for them to fall out first. Either that or we're going to have to poke some holes in that plastic bag. I can always tell who the parents are with that joke. Before I had kids, I had a VCR. Now it's just a clock with peanut butter in it. I was having breakfast with my two little daughters, and this giant cockroach walked across the kitchen table. The only thing worse than the sound of the high-pitched screams that filled the room was the realization that I was the only one screaming. My oldest daughter told us that she wants a backpack with her name embroidered on it. So we just started calling her Jan Sport. Guys, that last joke works in a lot of different ways. If you don't believe me, here it is in Spanish. Mi hija quiere una mochila con su nombre escrita. Entonces la llamábamos Jan Sport. Some of you may have heard this next joke before. If you know it, please don't ruin it for everybody else. My oldest daughter told us that she wants a backpack with her name embroidered on it. So we just started calling her Jan Sport. Folks, I just got a laugh on that same joke 3 times in a row. I read an article once that said that a joke is funny the first 3 times you hear it, and then it's not funny again until you hear it for the 7th time. So buckle up! These next 3 times are gonna suck. Don't worry, man. I'm not gonna tell the joke 4 more times. Just move on here. I knew that I failed as a father when my daughter used air quotes. Even worse, she did it while describing me as a comedian. My wife and I recently split up. She couldn't quite handle me chasing after my lifelong dream. Didn't help that my lifelong dream was to become a single father. So now I'm back out there on the dating scene, which is rough. A lot of women say there's no good men out there for them. Most of the time they're looking right at me when they say it. I've talked to some of my friends to catch me up on the sexual techniques I've missed in the last 15 years. Have you guys heard about this new thing called reciprocation? Notice it's only the women laughing at that joke. Most of the guys don't even realize why that's funny. But ladies, if you got a guy sitting next to you laughing at that joke, it means he's a keeper. This female comic I know confessed to me that she'd been having a secret incestuous relationship for the last 15 years. I was like, whoa, what are you telling me all this for? She goes, well, you know you're like a brother to me. Last girl I dated ghosted me. I can't believe that bitch died. I just got a great deal on a toaster at Target. Now all I need is a bathtub. Can't believe I just told a room full of people that I wanted to kill myself, and you guys all laughed at me. Not much of a suicide helpline here. One time I called the suicide helpline, that was pointless. They said I had to do it myself. Make no mistake, suicide is definitely on my bucket list. It's the last thing. Alright, enough suicide jokes. I'm going to talk about something else now. I forgot my Netflix password, so I tried the security question. Unfortunately, the security question was, what is your Netflix password? You guys have a favorite thing to watch before bed? Mine is my neighbor. I'm taking a poll to see how many people actually like to participate in polls. So I call this dude up. I go, do you want to take part in a poll? He goes, no. I go, too late. I see, I gotta give you guys a couple extra seconds. I hate talking to people I don't know at parties. This one dude came up to me and said, what would you do if you had a time machine? So I said, that depends. How long do you expect this conversation to take? Because I would like to go that far into the future. They say that Altoids are the curiously strong mint, but to me, Altoids are just the packing material that came with my weed box. I've actually been trying to quit smoking weed, so I Googled how to quit smoking weed. It's alright, sir, it's just for the joke, so let me finish it. Sorry, okay. So I Googled how to quit smoking weed. I only got one result. Run out of weed. So I was like, geez, I'm gonna have to smoke all this weed, so I'll run out. Mission accomplished. I can now honestly say that I'm 2 weeks weed free. So if anyone here can give me any weed, I love doing that joke. Every time I do that joke after the show, someone comes up to me and offers me weed. I would like to keep that streak alive. So I know who I'm talking to after the show. By the way, everyone knows where you're sitting. They all know you have weed. You realize that? I hope you brought a lot. I smoke a lot of weed. I stay away from edibles, though, because those things take forever to kick in. I remember like 2 months ago, my best friend gave me a brownie. That thing didn't hit me until just now. These days, my weed delivery method of choice is the vape pen. I like the vape pen because it's the closest you can come to smoking weed and spraying air freshener at the same time. But let's be honest, Cherry Berry Kush is a way better smell than single dad's apartments. I do a little cocaine too. It's a tricky drug. It's easy to lose track of how much you've done. So this is what I do to keep track of how many lines of cocaine I've done. All right, here we go. Pay attention. So I lay out 4 lines. Then I lay out the 5th one across diagonally. I just changed this dude's life over here. I'm glad to know that I'm not the world's only OCD coke phase. Sometimes people tell me I have OCD. I go, I don't have OCD. I don't have OCD. I don't have OCD. Say it 3 times, it's true. My psychologist, my psychiatrist, told me he was going to have me committed for being delusional. I looked at him and said, "Get out of here, you are not real!" I definitely have some kind of multiple personality disorder, though, I'll tell you that. Unfortunately for you all, this is the asshole that showed up tonight. Travel a lot for comedy. 2018 took me to Paducah, Kentucky for the 5th time to do comedy. What's crazy about that, everybody I meet in Paducah, Kentucky started doing comedy so that they could get out of Paducah, Kentucky. There's nothing to do there. There's a sign on the highway that says Exit 46, Paducah, Area Attractions, U-Turn. That's it. The only reason to get off the highway in Paducah, Kentucky is to turn around and get out of Paducah, Kentucky. One thing I can tell you, traveling all over this country, every town has a bar with a name that consists of an adjective followed by a weird animal. I'll give you some examples. In Chicago, after the show, we went out drinking at the Horny Toad, which is not a great place to meet a date, I'll tell you that. And then in Indianapolis, they got this place called the Thirsty Donkey. That is a great place to meet a date. But I'll tell you this, the crazier these names get, the more these people like to party. Which is why I can guarantee that nobody parties harder than the folks in Columbus, Mississippi at the Sexually Ambiguous Wombat. One time I had to throw up in my car. All I had with me was a 1-gallon Ziploc freezer bag. Let me tell you, I filled that thing up all the way, and there were no leaks. So I'm starting to think that Ziploc is missing a huge advertising opportunity. I'll give you some examples. Ziploc will store your food when your stomach doesn't want to. Here we go. Ziploc. We've got you covered no matter what comes up. This last one's my favorite. Here we go. Ziploc. Don't wait. Regurgitate. I'm glad the folks of Springfield, Missouri can recognize a hot advertising slogan when you hear one. It's cool. One time we went to St. Louis. Yeah, we didn't mean to. We were trying to get to Chicago, but we missed. So I'm walking around downtown St. Louis taking pictures of all the buildings. Security guard comes up to me and says, "Excuse me, sir, but you are not allowed to take pictures of any of these buildings. It's precaution against terrorism." I looked at this guy and said, "Do you realize that we are in St. Louis, Missouri? No one from ISIS is going to attack St. Louis. There's no one from ISIS has ever heard of St. Louis. The only way a terrorist is going to fly a plane into one of these buildings would be by accident. They'd be like, shit, we were trying to hit Chicago, but we missed." I don't know anyone who's allergic to gluten, but I do know a lot of people who are desperate for attention. If you're not laughing at that joke, I know you spent the last 5 years trying to convince your family that bread has a vendetta against you. These people joke a little too much. You guys know that term, butterface? I hate that term, butterface. For anyone who doesn't know what a butterface is, it's a way to describe a girl who has a nice body, but her face doesn't quite measure up. Like I said, I hate that term. It's not my term. 2 reasons I hate that term. 1, it's a really terrible way to refer to a woman in this day and age. The other reason I hate it is because it's impossibly negative. I'm an optimist, so instead of a butterface, I prefer to think of her as a "but that ass down." Man, okay. I got a friend called Racist Steve. He hates it when we call him that because his name is Bob. Racist Steve told me that he thinks all Chinese people look alike. I go, Steve, man, the reason you think all Chinese people look alike is because you only know 6 Chinese people, and they are all brothers. You need to expand your worldview beyond the Chang sextuplets. So then I asked my neighbor, Kevin Lee, if Chinese people think all racists look alike. He goes, I don't know, man. I'm Korean. I was like, geez, all you people really do look alike. Moral of that joke is that I am racist. This dude on my block has a bumper sticker that says, never forget. I thought he was some kind of 9/11 first responder, but it turns out he's an elephant. Alright. Move on from that. I feel like M&M's should merge with H&M. They could just call it I bet you guys thought I couldn't sound any creepier. But I had a surprise for you. I went to a marching band competition. It was weird. At halftime, they played a football game. You guys are paying attention. That's good. Before I get out of here, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about Brooklyn, New York, where I live. Brooklyn is the center of where nostalgia meets technology. That means that Brooklyn is the only place on earth you'll see a dude on a unicycle wearing an Apple Watch and rolling his own e-cigarettes. They don't really call them e-cigarettes anymore. Nowadays they call them nicotine delivery systems, which is a weird name for them. I mean, that sounds more like one of those old cigarette machines. You guys know the ones where you put your money in the slot, pull the lever, and your lungs fall out? That's what happened to me. I was at a wine tasting in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and I said to the girl I was with, I am so sick of all these hipsters with their long beards and antiquated clothing. She said to me, you know, these are all Orthodox Jews. You can tell your disappointment to your entire people when you need your Presbyterian Tinder date to remind you that you invited her to your nephew's bar mitzvah. All right, that's all for me. My name's Adam Gabel. You guys have been super fun. Enjoy the rest of the show.